Heard of MKBHD?
Mm-mm.
That guy on YouTube who reviews phones and like tech stuff.
Oh yeah, you know what?
The
I
black
actually,
dude?
yeah, I watched him do.
Marquise Brownlee or whatever.
Yeah, I watched him do the new iPhones and stuff.
Yeah, that's when I started watching him that's when I started watching him because I was looking at reviews for the new phone, and I was just it's weird because like he's got good videos and good content. It's like you don't even. I already bought my new phone, but I'm still watching phone reviews.
I am too.
Does he really?
I'm just like so interested in like what like
The
the,
way
current
he-
specs and
yeah.
the way he reviews stuff and
You know-
like he'll give you a good opinion. But he interviewed Elon Musk recently, so he went to Tesla plant, was interviewing him just about tech stuff, and then they did a plant walkthrough, and it's pretty interesting to see like how much of that is automated and how much of it isn't.
Mhm.
And like Elon even said, he's like certain things that are automated are perfect for robots, but he's like there's certain things that you do need a human touch. He's like he thinks that it'll probably be a long time before everything becomes 100% fully automated, just because there's little nuances, things that humans can do that robots can't. Like you would have to program like a million things into this robot for it to account to every like tiny little
Yeah, and
little nuance. But
We'll
it's like-
get there, but not yet.
Yeah,
Like humans, they have that adaptability.
What I want to know
Right.
is
On
how
the fly.
how he gets the phones early from like Apple. Like that is something I just.
Well, dude, companies always give shit out to reviewers
Oh, yeah.
early just to get a good review out early.
They know he's going to get the name out there, and
Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense.
he's got millions of eyes on every single one of his videos.
That's true.
It's the same thing with Twitch streamers.
Yeah.
How they, sponsor them to play their game. Like,
A million spies with a million eyes.
I play my game for a week, and
I wonder if they're like, here's the phone, and here's this much money to review our phone on, YouTube or whatever, since you have a million people following you, which
dude, have
which
you
would
seen,
make sense.
You can all that ad revenue shit is like public knowledge, like public information. You can go out there and see how much money he makes per month just from ad revenue. It's insane. I think he made like $75,000 last month.
Can you do that with YouTube streamers too? Like anybody,
Yeah.
Twitch,
Yeah.
anybody?
Well, I
Twitch
don't-
is really big.
I think
People-
Twitch is public, but yeah, any YouTuber, you can look at their info and see how much money they're making from like just ad revenue.
I'm just curious because I've always wondered. I figured it's like on some of the bigger channels, it's like millions, but
Dude, I can't even
When you
imagine.
get big enough, like on Twitch, they give you a button to click, and you can run an ad anytime you want and generate. Even if you have ad block, right? You're gonna block the ad, but the people are not. So you first join Twitch, you have to watch an ad. So you join Ninja's channel. Anytime he wants, he can just press a button, and every time he runs that ad, it's probably like $500, $1,000, whatever. I'm just making shit up, right? A certain amount of money. And if you wanted to, you could literally click that button 100 times during your video.
But yeah, you're gonna lose viewers.
Well,
Yeah.
right. I know that. I'm just
I know.
saying.
Unless you got.
Well, Lyric used to do. He'd like hit it 2 or 3 times in a row, and then he'd be like, "Oh, sorry guys, I didn't mean to do that." But like, you're like,
know
yeah,
you
okay,
didn't.
you know what you're doing. You got 25,000 viewers, and you just run 3 commercials in a row. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
So to that point, I'm not the biggest. I've never been the biggest Twitch guy, but when I was watching Twitch a lot, I was watching a lot of Lyric. I haven't seen him on lately. What's he been up to?
He still streams. He's just a variety streamer.
He's been playing. He's
Just a
playing.
variety streamer.
He was
not-
playing
just
Red
checking
Dead
out
a
new
bunch.
games, and yeah, he's been playing Red Dead.
A lot of people been playing Red
Dude,
Dead.
have you been playing it?
Okay, so
Did you get a binge fest going?
I was explaining to Rainey the other day. It's like there's been 2 times now where it's like Jake's at work, and it's like I fully planned on going in and just like going to town, but then it was like I just didn't. It's like it just doesn't feel the same. I want my own.
When it's not your own, yeah.
It's not because it's like
all
I'm
that
on a
progression.
timer. Because the one night I did get a good session in, it was just like I ended, and then 10 minutes later Jake came home. So it was a good, timing. But it's like, say I wanted to mash a few more hours, and he came home, I would have had to stop. And it was just like, what it's like getting hooked in the middle of
You gotta
a
stop.
very good game, and I would have thrown a tantrum.
Like sometimes for me, like sometimes for me, like depending on the game, like Red Dead, it has an excellent story. It's one of those story games where it's like, even if you don't 100% it, you're still going to get a good story experience out of it. But like for me, single player games nowadays, I'm at the point where it's like, I like the progression part of it and like the collectibles and all that. So I could see what you're saying. Like if it wasn't my own game and I just hopped on for 3-4 hours, and like just knowing in the back of my head that everything I do right now is not really going to matter. Like it's like I'm not really working towards anything. And,
Because I guess
like,
in a way too, it's like embracing myself. Because it's like I'm not willing to say it out loud, but I know deep down in the back of my head, it's like I mean, I'm getting it one way or another. I'll either wait a few years for PC, or I'll just pull the trigger and buy a console and play it. So it's like, and then after I got that in my head, it's like I've been less about like rushing in there to play it. But every time I go in his bathroom to take a piss and he's playing, it's like, it's just gorgeous because he's progressed so far now. And I heard him say he got this white horse and he's got like this, that, and the other, and it's just
Did you see
I'm just
it?
so jealous.
Did you guys see the new South
so
Park
good.
with the Red Dead?
Yes.
It was good, wasn't it?
Oh, you're playing Red Dead too, huh?
Yeah. You see it, Brandon?
Mm-mm,
No,
I
all right,
haven't
we
seen
won't
it.
ruin it then.
Yeah,
It's
watch
good.
it.
It's really
You'll
good.
love it. Just jump to that one. You're
Just
gonna
for the
laugh
Red
your
Dead one.
You're
Yeah.
gonna laugh your ass
That
off.
last one was really good. And the Halloween special one was really good too.
See
But yeah.
those Black Friday PS4 bundles. You should pick one up if you have.
Well, there for a while, and I didn't know it was temporary, but dude, they were selling Xbox One S. You could get a second controller and Red Dead Redemption for $268.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
But
I'm on-
we're coming into the Black Friday though.
it is.
So.
I'm on the fence, but I really want one too. It just sucks because I don't want to buy consoles just to play one fucking game.
Well, dude, I'll tell you this: if you buy a PS4, like the catalog of games that PlayStation has is insane. I would definitely get a PlayStation over an Xbox, in my opinion. Xbox exclusives, I just don't really know much about them, but the PlayStation ones are all amazing. Like The Last of Us,
Gods of War or whatever.
the new God of War this year was amazing.
It looked cool. I remember seeing. I think someone was playing it on stream.
I thought
that
at
new
E3
Spider-Man, it's only on PlayStation.
Was
Spider-Man
that
was
E3
cool.
when they were showing? Where were they? What was the event where they showed the first footage of that?
God of War?
God of War, and what was that event? What was that called? Was that E3?
I think it was E3.
Because I remember that's when we first saw the Spider-Man footage, and then the God of War footage, and I just remember thinking like that God of War looks crazy.
Did you guys see the what's it called? The new Harry Potter open world RPG they're making. It's coming out in like a year or two.
I did see like something leaked. Or
Yes.
something.
Yeah, they
I
leaked
did see
something
that.
and they got the videos offline. There's a couple.
It looks incredible,
Dude, it
Yes.
looks so
really
good.
good. Yeah.
I can't wait to play that. Like you
Dude.
can be like up to 4
Dude.
characters in the game, or it might be open world where you can play with people online and you can just go around and be other characters and do like side quests and shit like that.
RPG, man, make an RPG. Like
Please,
oh my
'cause-
God.
They said it's open world RPG. That's what I've been reading about. So fuck, I can't wait.
I'll never put
And
it down.
it'll be on PC and it'll be on console. And I'm hoping if they're smart, they'll make it where it's open to every platform. And they can play it on anything. But
Well,
we'll see.
Did you see that they're finally making a 3D Pokemon for Switch?
I saw
Yes.
that. I saw that.
Pokemon Let's Go or whatever. It's like
20
how many
years
years?
too
I
late.
know.
Yeah.
How many years have we been begging for this? And
It's ridiculous.
I wonder
it
why.
kinda makes me wanna get
I
a
wonder if it
Switch.
was somebody in Nintendo or somebody in the Pokemon team or the creator. Somebody like, what was the holdup? Because I remember as a kid with Nintendo 64 when they released Pokemon Stadium and being so disappointed that it was
Oh,
just for
yeah.
battling.
Yep.
Because it's like everybody and their brother wanted a goddamn just 3D Pokemon RPG.
it didn't even have to be
And
like
Pokemon-
spectacular.
And then there was Pokemon Snap, and it was just like, okay, so here's 3D Pokemon
they're
now,
smart,
but
they would do
it's
this-
it's bullshit.
They would do it with VR or with augmented reality, like you guys were talking about the other day. That would be like the
Augmented
ultimate-
reality with Pokemon Go.
ultimate game.
That'd be sick if everyone had those like glasses on, or if they just had like giant AR glass in front of the crowd. Like if you're in the stands. I don't know how that would work though, because it would be different perspective, I guess, for each seat. It probably would have to be like glasses or something.
Yeah, I don't know either, but
That'd
it would
be so cool,
It would be
man.
really cool.
Just like throwing a ball out. And
I mean, that
seeing it
has to be
pop
the
out.
future of everything, right? Not just gaming, but everything we're moving towards. So I just read an article like last night by Elon Musk talking about how cell phones in 10 years will be dead. They'll be obsolete.
I think Google Glass was ahead of its time. There just wasn't enough stuff available, and so by the time we get to the point where AR, as an augmented reality, is like going to get big, it's like I think you're going to have something that looks a little bit slicker than Google Glass, and you're going to have way more you can do with it, and it's just I think they're going to blow the doors wide open. I just don't know what happened to just like you're good at, like 3D, like it just shit the bed. But
Well, I don't think it never took off with movies really, and I don't think the gaming community ever really thought it was a cool thing because, I mean, what games in 3D besides Pokemon you could think of would actually would have been a good game to play in 3D?
well, I still want to play that Rick and Morty 3D game.
I've never even seen that. Is that on PC?
Yeah, it's PC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that the Google Glass, like how you were saying, it's ahead of its time. It reminds me of, remember like virtual reality, like when we were kids, like those
Nintendo?
goggles. Well, they were like these goggles that came out, and like
I had them.
it wasn't like actual virtual reality. You
Yeah,
know what
I'm
I'm
sorry.
saying?
No,
Do you know actually-
I'm mixing up. That's what I meant by 3D VR.
Yeah, yeah.
VR.
I actually had that Nintendo. What it was a tripod stand. It was red and black, and you stuck your head in there, and you had a controller.
I
right?
remember
and when you
that.
play like Mario Tennis and stuff on it, it was made by Nintendo. I can't remember the actual name at this moment, but it actually was giving people like seizures and like shit like that. It was actually really bad for eyes, so they had to do a recall on it because it was so bad.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Dude, I bet if you found one nowadays, probably go for a fuck ton.
They're on eBay. I looked them up.
How much are they going for?
$300. I mean,
That's
which is
pretty decent
It's
for
cool.
a used old.
I don't know if I really want to play it. I mean, there's a couple of games on there that are cool, but it's
No, but I'm sure for those people out there that collect like everyone, they want one of everything,
Yeah.
like in games. They probably that's who the target audience
And
is.
While we're on the-
They jerk off with a power glove while they stare at their collection.
While we're on the Nintendo kick, did you see Nintendo was making a theme park called Nintendo World or something like that in California? I had a picture. I was going to bring it up for you guys just because I thought it was really cool.
Damn.
Dude,
Dude,
is this
look cool?
real?
It's supposed to be done in like a couple of years. They already started building on it, but look at all the shit.
And this
they
is in
have.
California.
This is in California. This is
What?
from Universal Studios. I was listening to an interview.
Is this an extension? Like, is this attached to the Universal
No,
Studios?
this is their own park. It's its own park and everything for kids. Like, I'm gonna bring my son here for sure if we go somewhere. I mean, look at all that shit they have.
Dude, take me.
Shit.
Okay, so Donkey Kong Country, that better be like 3 when you're going around the boat, the
Yeah.
map in the boat.
The boat and just Super Smash Coliseum,
Yeah, Smash
Metroid,
Coliseum.
McCloud, Super
Dude,
Mario Galaxy.
Hyrule.
Hyrule,
Yeah.
Kanto.
I mean, they have pretty much everything you could think of if you're a Mario,
Mario
or
Kart
just
Speedway,
a
there's gonna be
Nintendo.
go-karts and shit.
Yeah, the go karts. That's gonna be really cool. So
Animal Crossing.
there's a video out there you can watch from the
Toad the Ride.
owner of Nintendo talking about it. But yeah, it's a good idea. I mean,
This is a great idea.
right?
Dude, well, in Overwatch, they released a map called Blizzard World, and
I heard about that.
And there's a map that looks just like that shows like all the like Diablo part of the park, and then like Warcraft part of the park.
Are they
and all
making one
that.
too?
No, I don't think it's not a real thing. It's
Oh,
just
okay.
like an in-game.
Got
thing.
it.
Is it a fun map to play?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's like you can see all the different influences from like StarCraft to Warcraft and all
True.
that. Dude, that Warcraft 3 remake, I'm so hyped for that.
Did they show footage? I didn't know. I gotta look that up.
It's incredible. It looks amazing.
I remember you saying that. I just
Yeah.
haven't looked at anything
I
yet.
just Warcraft 3 like played that for years, just played the shit out of that game. Even now, like the gameplay's still fun. It's just the graphics don't hold up.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, dude, it's like that's where Dota came from. Warcraft 3 Custom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They invented Dota, and then
Yeah, they're bringing back the
they
map
didn't-
editor.
Are they?
Yep.
Yeah, there was just so many fun mini games that people. I had more fun playing custom games.
I definitely played custom games way more than I played.
God, it
actual
was just
games.
there were just so many fun ones.
There was.
like tower defenses, like Footman Wars, or like
Footman Wars were fun.
like hook wars with Pudge, like just hooking each other from side to side. Like, there's a lot of good games.
Yeah, there was.
Did you guys see that? I know you guys did because we talked about it already. But what do you guys think about the black teacher fight bullshit that happened with the kid, in school?
I saw that. I finally saw the video. Like,
I mean, there's like 20 kids in school with cameras recording them. And it's like,
I know.
yeah, the teacher should have been more of an adult than held restraint. But man, when you're calling some Mexican kids calling some black guy the N-word 40 times in the class, I mean, what do you expect's gonna happen? The guy's 65 years old.
he was probably thinking I'm about to retire, or I'm getting ready. Like he's probably like I'm too old for this shit.
Yeah, I mean, the worst part about it was like if you look up some stuff,
old for this shit.
you look up some stuff about it. He
Riggs.
already had like an incident in class before with a student. So obviously the school isn't the best school. They have a lot of this stuff happen at school. But
Where was this school at?
I can't remember exactly where the school was, but he was a music teacher. And the reason the whole thing got started was the kid came to class late and he wasn't wearing the proper uniform to be in class. I guess they have like a musician uniform. I've never been in music, but I'm assuming there's some type of attire he wants to come in for practice or whatever they're doing. And he was just being a shithead. And now the parents trying to act like my son's, he's an angel, like he's awesome, like, and we're going to sue the school and make all this money. It's like that kid just he's going to be set for life. He's going to make millions of dollars off this lawsuit. He's going to. I think the funniest thing was, though, the community's rallying behind the teacher, and he's got like almost, I don't know, $150,000 on, what's that?
GoFundMe.
GoFundMe already. That people have raised for him for for
I heard-
lawyer fees and all kinds of stuff because they think it's bullshit what happened to him.
Yeah, I'm like kind of 50-50 on it because like I don't think he should have swung at the kid.
No.
But like I said, you do that enough, like call him that many times. It's like the kid was asking for it. He was trying to get a rise out of him.
Oh yeah, he knew what he was doing.
That's
He was
what-
taunting him. I mean, he was trying to fight him. And same thing, he threw a basketball at him in the middle of class. Like, what does that signal say? Oh yeah, the student, he's not innocent in this at all. But guess what? I guarantee he'll be in school.
And honestly, like rougher schools, like with rougher kids, need rougher punishment. Like what
Yeah.
they should do, honestly, in high schools is like bring in like a crackhead or like somebody who just like failed at life and be like, is this what you kids want? Like you want to struggle to just stay alive and make ends meet and like to eat, but like
But I mean-
go ahead and fuck off in school.
Well, I mean, okay, think back to being in school, and there's that certain type of shithead kid where it's like, dude, you could do that, like, because what's that called where they're like that show where they bring them into prisons and like
Scared Straight?
Scared Straight.
Yeah.
You'll still have the little hard ass who's like, you can't fuck with me, I'm invincible.
I
And
grew,
it's
up,
like,
I
and
grew up
they-
in the suburbs. I'm really ghetto.
And it's like, regardless of what you do, they're just lost causes. Some of these kids.
It's sad because it's like they don't understand. I mean, even now, there's probably things about my life in the future that I don't understand now. But like in hindsight, hindsight's always 20/20, they say. But it's like when you look back at your high school, your formidable years in high school, it's like that's what makes or breaks your life. That's what sets you on your career path.
Well,
that's
dude,
where you make your friends. That
I'll-
last for a lifetime.
I'll bet you money that kid either came from a fucked up home or his dad wasn't there, or his dad beat him or some shit. I guarantee you that he does not have a positive
it's
home life.
Probably a dysfunctional house.
Yeah.
Right. But now that they're playing the victim, and that's the whole point I don't like about it. I mean, of course, that's what the family's going to do. If anybody was in that situation, that's probably
Yeah,
what
little
they would
Michael Brown didn't do nothing.
do. Didn't do nothing. Now their families and movies and multimillionaires over what happened to their son. So
This is what I love about St. Louis news is they always pretend like everything's non-gang related. It's like, when was the last time you heard the news even mention the word gang? Like, they purposely go out of their way, I believe, to like downplay like how big gangs are in St. Louis City.
I think there's a bigger problem
Because,
too.
well, I just bring that up real quick just because I heard that Michael Brown's whole goddamn family was gang affiliated.
I would believe it, and
He was a big teddy bear, though.
yeah, he's a teddy bear, sandals.
He's just strong, he was just doing that person a favor. He's getting rid of those that box of cigars. They were expired. He was just trying to get them off the
The
shelf.
shelf.
That wasn't a strong arm robbery. He was just trying to help.
I think the biggest problem too is like growing up right now in this day and age is you can't discipline your kids. Now I'm going to discipline my kids regardless of what people say and think, but I feel like with this whole helicopter parent type thing going on nowadays that they feel like it's better not to discipline kids when in reality like I remember if I would just talk to my mom or my dad, I would get my ass whooped, and then it's like you didn't do it again. It's kind of like a learning thing. Like you're testing them when you're young, kind of test your patience, test what your boundaries.
Yeah, see what you can get away with.
Kids just do that now, and they know they can get away with anything because they can scream bloody murder about anything. And like, well, I'm gonna call, child protective services on you or something at school. Like teachers can't restrain students. I think you said one time, you told me there's a story where a kid got in a fight and was trying to fight the teacher and he restrained him. He ended up getting fired because he restrained the kid from kicking his ass or fighting, punching him. Like, how the hell is that even
Well,
fair?
zero tolerance policies. It's the same thing like when some kid's getting bullied and say that kid gets the shit beat out of him by a bully. And it's like they both get suspended, even if the kid getting bullied didn't throw a punch because of zero tolerance. Because it's way easier for the school administration to just it's a way of not dealing with real issues by just going zero tolerance, and it's a lazy way to raise kids.
Yeah, I'm not saying you have to beat your kids or anything, but I think that their schools should have some.
Well, public schools have really gone down the shitter in the past decade. I'll just say that it's just the direction they're going. It's shit.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the only person that has the ability to do anything is the resource officer in school. Like literally the only person because they are technically
Yeah,
law.
and he goes from 0 to 100. It's like you're not just getting a talking to. You're getting thrown on the ground and your arm almost broken when you're like a 14-year-old little girl.
Yeah,
They don't give a shit. They don't.
I've seen some fucked up videos from school, some shit that's happened.
Yeah, with resource officers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny how they call them resource officers. Just call them police officers.
Because
There's the
technically
high
they
school
are.
police officer.
I had to go talk. I remember when I was in school and my senior year, I kept on leaving school early because I was on work program, and somebody told the resource officer I was skipping class, and he came out twice to talk to me about, say, hey, heard you're skipping class and doing all this stuff. What are you doing? It's like, hey, dumbass, I'm on work release. Why don't you check in to see what I'm actually leaving school for? It's like you and the dumbass, the guard, security guard that's out in front or whatever, he like fouled me a couple times, I remember. It's like, seriously? Are we having this talk again? I was so pissed off by the second time. I was like, did you not retain the stuff I told you the first time about when I was leaving school? So I could only imagine what it's like in school now.
I think it is. I think I just read not too long ago that the resource officer that was involved in that school shooting, who didn't go inside, I think he was just charged with like 17 counts of like negligence or something.
Yeah, he was supposed to be, you know, the first line of defense,
Yeah.
and he was a fucking coward. Wasn't it because he was like close to retirement?
Yeah.
And I bring this up because, you know, in that latest shooting,
School shooting? The cruise one in Florida?
not the school shooting,
Thousand Oaks?
the
Thousand Oaks.
Thousand Oaks, yeah. You know, there was an officer responded in 3 minutes that got killed.
Yeah, I saw that.
He was he was less than
I
a year
saw
away
that.
from
I read that.
retirement,
Yeah, I
and
read
it's like that's a hero. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like just because you're close to retirement, he still like felt the need to like go and try to save lives, or is like
That's
that
your
pussy
job.
fucking coward. It's like, yeah. So what do you know? So I look at people like that. And it's like, so what'd you get paid for all those years, just bullying kids?
Pretty
and when
much.
push came to shove, when it was your time to shine, you fucking hid. Like, what a fucking coward.
Dude, you know what was really weird, too, about the Thousand Oaks thing I read was it's third safest place in America. So obviously there's nowhere really safe in America. They said the less crime was the third safest place. And there was 2 people from the Vegas shooting.
I saw that.
And
One
one person-
survived and one died.
One died. Like, what are the odds of you being in 2 places? Like, if that, like, I think I heard this,
Can't
someone say
imagine.
this, but it's like, if I'm that person, and
I'm not going anywhere anymore.
Exactly. I'm not
Yeah.
going
Staying
out of
in
my
my
house.
house.
Literally staying in my house after that. Like, what the fuck?
Walmart delivers now.
You know, Walmart delivers. You can get food delivered. You can pretty much pay someone else to do it. Like, dude, come on. Like, how traumatizing would that be? 2 places,
Well,
2 shootings.
okay, and
2
this
different
is-
parts of the, the country.
I'm not going to try and take this political. I'm going to make a statement, and that's it. I'm not going to like rag on it, but it's just like, look, I will say this is like
go
there
political.
are more
Go political.
gun restriction laws in California than anywhere else. It's like there's this rating agency that will rate like, you know, states by like, you know, like A to F on like how your gun control laws are, and California has an A plus. And look, it's not like that stopped a shooting. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, like going back to like the cowardice of those people who are supposed to, like, their job is to help people. There was a cruise liner, I think it was within the last 10 years or something. It was like a cruise liner
I know what you're talking about.
who, like, I think he ended up hitting shore, and like a lot of people lost their lives, like, because the boat went under or it was sinking. And there was someone on shore talking to one of the captains of another ship, like a rescue ship, like telling that person to go inside and help people. And he's like, "Oh, I'm just waiting for other rescue." I forgot like the exact words that he was using, but it was
Like, how do you
basically
get-
the guy was basically yelling at him like, "What the fuck are you doing? Get in there and help people!" Like,
How do you get
And
that
he
job?
wouldn't.
people need your help, and he wouldn't.
Yeah.
Like, how do you get that job?
There's an audio recording of it. It's hilarious.
I don't know what they do to get those positions, but it's like, shouldn't they have to go through some type of intense training to know what to do in those situations so they're just not frozen, like not scared at that moment? Because,
Well, I hate to say it, but
Try to-
the police departments, they probably assign the shitty cops to those positions, like the resource officers.
As like a punishment position,
well,
kind
as,
of in a
yeah,
way.
it's like this guy's fucking useless. Just put him in the school and forget about him. It's
probably
like
right.
he's probably not like a good cop.
Or I could see like our older cops maybe like
Yeah.
getting placed there as just like a low, you're still on
Yeah.
duty, active service, but you're not like obviously not patrolling Martin Luther King Boulevard.
Yeah.
right. Dude, now we're on the school shooting topic. This is kind of political. I guess it is.
This is America. We're never not going to be on the school shooting topic.
The kid, was it Nicholas Cruz, right? The kid that shot up Florida, the Florida schools. How are
I don't know, but I don't. It's like I agree with everybody. It's like don't try to name him. It's like fuck him. I
All
know
right.
there's like 2 people that listen to this, but
all right? Well,
we
anyway,
don't deserve
the
names.
guy, the guy,
You hear me, Ashley? Don't listen to this.
yeah, the Cruz guy, or my cousin Tim. How did he get the vote? Why are they letting those guys, people that are on death row, or he's not actually not on death row, he hasn't been charged with any crimes yet, but how are they allowed to vote? I know that the amendments apply to what all that kind of stuff to allow people to vote, but the right should be taken away after you murder
okay,
people.
so actually, I think it was the state of Florida this past election passed a law overturning. So convicted felons usually are not. They lose their right to vote. And I don't know if that's at a national or state level. I'm assuming state level
I'm assuming
because
state because I just read an article
Florida,
about it.
yeah, went ahead and gave them their right. I think it was Florida.
It was.
Okay, convicted felons got their right to vote back.
So this is kind of a hot topic. Have you heard of the kid who got banned on YouTube for harassing and beating up the feminist character in Red Dead 2?
Yes.
No, I haven't, but
Oh
I
my
want
God.
to hear
wanted
about
to
it.
pull my fucking hair out.
Oh my God.
Somebody even wrote an article about it.
Explain it, because I don't know anything
So
about it.
this guy, I think part of it, and I usually try and see both sides when this shit happens. I think the reason everyone's upset is because he made more than one video, and it was kind of like aggressive, like the way he was going about it. But there's a feminist character in this big town because it's set in 1899, and I guess women don't get the right to vote for another 20 years or so. So that's what this lady campaigning on the street saying, like women should have the right to vote, and you can do anything you want in that game. You can harass any character, any NPC, anything you want. So there's he's got videos of him titles like beating up angry feminist or whatever. So he just lassos her and just drags her to a mine and drops her down a mine shaft, and everyone just loses their shit. But yeah, he got banned for it apparently.
So, dude, that's what the SJW's
And
got
he was
too
like
much time
he was
doing,
like a
dude.
decently big YouTuber too.
Dude, that is so stupid. I mean, it's a fucking video game at this point. Regardless of what he's doing for entertainment purposes for his show.
Look, there's a whole subset of SJWs out there who believe that social justice should invade every form of media. We're talking video games, comic books, movies, even stand-up comedy. I remember talking about that one
Actually has something to
lesbian who.
Well, they're ruining comedy.
Well, it wasn't a comedy set, and then I just remember it was just I just remember turning it on. I was reading about it.
I think you sent me a link. I still haven't watched it.
And it was a
No, I didn't
joke.
watch
She
it.
was just going into it was a stand-up special. It was a Netflix stand-up special, and she's going in talking about why she hates men because she got raped when she was younger, and it's and then it's not like she turned it into a joke. She was just lambasting the crowd for 10 to 15 minutes. And
Who was this?
I don't even
I remember her
remember
name, but I do remember seeing when we watched this, she kind of made it to the point where it was she thought this was the new form of comedy. For
No.
people
No.
or
Okay, so
something.
here's the deal. Then you have the shitty.
She's on Netflix.
She's on Netflix. So then you have the shitty news nowadays that came out, and somebody wrote an article about how she's changing the face of comedy, and this is the new way of comedy. And it's no, it's not. It's not. Comedy inherently, you need to be funny, and she purposely wasn't being funny. She was just, I don't know what you would call that.
So you're just
And
bashing
it's
men.
and it's and I don't get, if you need to get some stuff out, go to therapy, do whatever. But it's don't call this a stand-up special and then go on some tirade that's not even fucking funny. And then other people don't consider that comedy, please, because it's not.
Well, I mean, this.
But they did, because they all jerk each other off.
Yeah, and this is why comedy's getting ruined because people like this. I mean, just SJWs are ruining everything. Let's just get to the
They
point.
really are.
So I get my news from Google News. I just go to news.google.com.
Try go to.
And the amount, just reading the headlines, you can tell how far right or left they are depending on the headline. And I swear, it seems like it's definitely gotten more far left. Just all the headlines that, what you're talking about right there.
If you want good media, you got to go left because that's what people want to listen to. Is all this bullshit propaganda crap they're forcing on people. That's what I feel like.
It's.
Well, that's considered good news, but that's what we get ratings, I guess.
Well, it seemed like before it was about equal rights. Now it seems like it's not even about that anymore. It seems like everyone just wants to take white men down a peg,
Yeah, no,
it's not about equal rights anymore. It's about
it's zero sum. They feel like they need to take away in order to get ahead. They don't look at it with an abundancy mindset. There's enough opportunity for everybody. It's no, we got to take white guys down a peg because they've been in control for a couple hundred years. And never mind that, us white guys nowadays, it's I never did a fucking thing to anybody. It's not like I enslaved anybody personally or, fucked over somebody because I owned a railroad company. But these people act since we're white guys that we're the shit of the earth, even though they don't personally know us. And that's what drives me crazy. And that's why I stopped being a Democrat. is because it's like I know I wasn't getting a fair shake, and it's like I don't feel white guilt, and it's like, and I do adhere to a lot of liberal like ideology, but it's like these fucking people though. It's like, how can I support some of this shit with some of the shit they say? It's like I can't. So it's like, nah, I just went libertarian. It just made more sense.
I mean, pretty much everything you just said was pretty much true. I mean, I think that's majority of America right now. I mean, I
And
think
I'm not sitting here being like, oh, I'm such a victim, because they love saying that, like, oh, white people like acting like a victim when we're the real victims. It's like, no, it's like I'm just telling you like it is. It's like I do, in a way, it's like I'm just kind of disappointed. I don't feel like a victim though. I don't have that victim mindset that they love, of, like jumping to, because.
I just
of
feel like
whatever.
everybody plays the victim card.
But,
Well, I just feel like if there is something to the point where like you feel like you have to play the victim, like if we were victimized in some aspect, if you wanted to point that out and say that, then you're playing into that whole thing about you can't be a victim.
right, and it just, and the irony of it's like, you know, for how long it's like you don't hold the color of somebody's skin against them, or like something they're born with, like, and they're all about that, except for white males. It's because you were born a white fucking male. You're the scum of the earth, and it's like I can't help that I was white, but
I mean,
like, just the irony of it.
Dude, the irony in it is retarded because these SJW people go out in public and they're, let's say I just watched something about them being on college campus, right? And these were college kids going back and forth. Some were Republican, obviously the other ones were Democrat and liberals. They had signs holding up saying they supported some bullshit, some type of person that's a Republican, and I think something about rape culture or whatever. It wasn't real on college campuses or whatever. SJW people or libertarians came over, they ripped up the signs, and were like getting physical and stuff, and the teacher broke it up, or like the resource officers on campus broke it up and said, they have freedom of speech, they can say whatever they want, you guys can have your opinions, they're allowed to have theirs, you can't be physical with them. And the guy made a point that was like the leader of like the Republican guys talking, is like, it's funny and ironic that you guys preach about wanting equal rights and you guys don't want to be violent, but you're the ones always getting violent, and you're the ones always being outraged and all this stuff. And it's like, it's never us. And then he made a point to say, look, Republicans just won the Senate and you guys won the House, and you didn't see us crying and bitching, and there wasn't like, you know, people protesting in the streets, didn't need like therapy counselors, like, you know, the whole, you know, whatever, the whole shit that happened with Trump or whatever.
I'm triggered.
Yeah, all the triggerness stuff. And it's like, he made a great point. He pretty much said, it's like, we don't do anything to extreme that you guys do, but then we're the ones who are always in the wrong. Pretty much saying Republicans, white people, anybody that don't agree with them, right? So,
Well,
it's just crazy that it's a double standard. They're allowed to do that, but if we did it, you know, it'd be a media frenzy.
It's a motion trumping like logic and reason. You know, it's like they just want to like flail their arms and say, you know, just cry about something until it gets changed. You ever see that It's Always Sunny episode where they're like, reason will prevail?
Yeah.
They're like, all right, we're gonna stop arguing, guys, and we're gonna think about this logically, and reason will prevail, and they keep repeating it, reason will prevail.
I did see.
Oh, dude, the It's Always Sunny finale this season was hilarious.
I didn't see
I've
it.
got seasons to catch up
Oh my
on,
God.
like seasons.
It was great.
I saw. Now we're still on the SJW topic.
Drop it, fuck them.
One more
Alright,
thing.
Make it quick though. I don't want to talk about them. They waste enough of my time in the
Victoria's
week.
Secret just had their fashion show or whatever, right? I don't know if it was on TV or.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
I thought it was coming up.
I think they just had it.
I think they just had it.
Really?
I know.
I thought there was one on
playing
December 6th.
you playing your year around it?
No.
Okay. Anyway,
Forgot to put it on your calendar.
Yeah.
I'm just joking.
your Victoria's Secret calendar.
December 6th. Beat off to the Victoria's Secret model
Regardless,
thing.
there's some huge article going on right now talking about how that people are protesting again Victoria's Secret because they didn't want to have.
Well, if you look close enough, actually, some of those are see-through. You can see nips.
Yeah. They were protesting because they didn't want to have transgender people on there, and they didn't want to have
Overweight.
overweight women on there, you know, plus size models.
Plus size models. What are you
What
going
I call it, right? And the person that owns Victoria's Secret, it's like, that's not what we're about. We've never been about that. And
We're
not gonna
about nips and lips, not
Well-
nips and dicks.
Well, I saw the plus size chick who was making a big deal out of it because she was like talking about Victoria's Secret and how, you know, and then she was praising Sports Illustrated because they do feature
The
plus
body
size models.
issues. Yeah.
And like the chick who's bitching about it, to me, she's not even plus size. Like she might be a little bit taller, like a tiny little bit thicker
Yeah.
than the Victoria's Secret chicks, but like she shouldn't be the ambassador for plus size models, you know?
No.
It's like
there's a whole
you don't
different.
look plus size to me. Like
The whole thing that's stupid about it is it's like everybody's
No.
known how.
Looking good, girl. Damn, a little thick. You looking good.
Victoria's Secret should pick you up.
I mean,
Yeah.
Victoria's Secret holds an image, and that's how they've always been. And they said they're not condoning the PC culture and all this bullcrap because people are outraged and online about something that they have no reason why. You know, people are like, this is going to make their numbers and sales go down more. It's like,
What? Who ever said that companies have to be all inclusive? Like they're there to make money. If they make money with skinny hot chicks,
And this in particular, beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
Exactly.
And so a majority.
You can't
and
force
it's
that down
like,
anyone's throat.
Think about it like this. It's like hot women are hot because it's been agreed upon, like not non-verbally, but it's just like a majority of men find you attractive, and it's just like that's it. It's like so you're hot because literally like 9 out of 10 guys that looked over at you were like, man, she's hot, and the 10th was gay. So it's like. I'm sorry, but you can't tell me, because it's such a personal thing. It's like you can't tell me what's attractive or not. You can't force me to find a transvestite attractive because I'm not into ladyboys. So,
right.
and it's like, no, I'm sorry, but you want to, yeah, it's like that equal rights bullshit. It doesn't, and then it goes into constitutional rights even. It's like private business, it's separate. It's like this is not a place to fight, like, for freedoms or whatever, and that's what pisses me off about the whole NFL and all that shit, because it's a private business.
I mean, the other point is, too, it's like they make this point and say, we're going to stand up and we're not going to buy your products anymore. Half the people that are actually bitching about this aren't even people that are SJWs or people who are transgender or overweight that are fighting for this. These are other people that like, I've noticed a lot. It's like,
Yeah, the ones that go in and just buy the sweatpants.
yeah, whatever. A lot of these people, you know,
Princess
fit
or-
into the
I mean,
lingerie.
I mean, even my wife, she goes in there and she's not plus size or anything, but she can't find anything that doesn't fit her that's not large because half the stuff is made for really women who are really skinny, and that's like or younger girls or whatever. That's their audience, right? It's not the 60-year-old woman or whatever that wants to go in there and look like they're 30 years old or something. So
have you seen those guys that transition from guy to female and then they play in female sports?
Yeah.
And they just like dominate the sport.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. Joe Rogan talks about it all the time. There's one to wrestling and there's one to
It's
fighting.
like, how is that okay?
Dude, it's not okay. It's fucked up.
Well,
It's-
it's
Yeah,
like I don't want to see same thing. I don't want to see transgender on the catwalk.
I don't want to see some poor lady get beat the shit out of by some dude who cut his dick off.
right? I mean, it's such a dumb thing that we allow nowadays. I'm sorry, I just don't agree with it. I'll never. Race.
I feel like it's it reminds me. It kind of reminds me of like the movement. I guess it was like during the Cold War around that time. I don't even know when it was. Like when all the college, same thing with the college kids just protesting and going crazy, and it's like I feel like it's like a bubble, like it's gonna pop and then it's it's gonna go to the wayside for a little bit, then it'll reappear, rear its head back up, and
apparently
it'll be a big issue again.
America is like the last country to pick up the PC stuff. Apparently, like England and London. And
Well,
like
we tried in the
Europe.
early 90s.
We did?
Yeah, no, there was a PC movement in the early 90s that ended up, like, you remember that movie PCU?
Yep.
With, what was his name? Ari, from, Jeremy Piven
Jeremy
was the
Piven,
main
yeah.
character. And some other guys were in it. But anyways, it's like, no, there was a brief PC movement in the early 90s, but it got squashed.
They didn't have the social media.
Well, they didn't
outlet.
have the backing of the goddamn news media, and this is what's killer nowadays is because it's like they're all pushing for it, and it's all forced and faked, and it's like this forced progressivism, and it's like this is what I really appreciate about this election. It just went and showed. It's like, no, you all truly are just a minority, vocal, but you're a minority when it comes to voting. So the rest of the country believed in common sense. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's just crazy to me, dude. Like, I just don't feel like how anything should be forced upon people.
And I'm not trying to take rights away from anybody. I mean, you have freedom to do what you want. It's like,
Well,
I
I'm
know
fine
I
with
said
that
it very
too.
crassly, but it's like, you know what? If that's truly in your heart of hearts how you feel, and it's like you want to pay to like have like, your gender transformed, by all means do it. That doesn't affect me one iota. It's just that don't then come back and expect me, have expectations for how I'm going to treat you, because it's like, because it's like I'm a very, like I said, like I have a liberal background, but it's like, okay, go to that Bible thumper who grew up the whole time thinking that even gays are going to hell, and it's like, what do you think? It's like you can't. It's like, yeah, they might be wrong in the grand scheme, but you can't say that because that's their beliefs, and it's like they're not as long as they're not impending on your like rights, it's like, what is it to you? Like, why do you feel like you need, just because you're transgender, that you need representation in a Victoria's Secret fashion show? It's like, give me a fucking break. It's just getting absurd now, but it's great because it's like, I hope we go like hyper absurdness so that everybody will finally be like, okay, we're done with this shit. This is just stupid at this point.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
when's it gonna break? That's my worry now. Is like, how far are you gonna try to fucking take this bullshit?
I don't know, man. It's reached everything. Like it goes from schools to work to now pretty much anything that has to do with, I don't know, people, it's in culture.
Literally, I told everything. Like it started, like I want to say, like it really started with video games, and then it got pervasive into journalism, and then then it hit comic books, and I even heard like it hit certain like because this is all online shit too. Because your regular people aren't really out there yelling about this shit. It's like a big online presence though. But I was even reading about like even heavy metal forums now are like getting hit with this bullshit. Like they're leaving no stone unturned is what I'm getting at. Is it's like if you're a fan of something,
No one's safe, pretty much.
No one's safe from this bullshit.
I wouldn't be surprised soon. Didn't that movie come out too long ago this year about somebody playing a transgender woman in a film or something?
There was that movie about the gay high school kid, Love Simon.
No, that wasn't it. There was actually a person, and they banned the movie, or they stopped the movie because the transgender community got really pissed off about it.
Oh, you know what it was? Is because I think it was Scarlett Johansson was going to play the character, not a real transgender.
Okay.
And so the whole transgender community just like flipped his shit.
And she declined the casting.
And then she went ahead and
That's right,
backed
that's what
out
happened.
because she didn't want to fuck with it. And I might be wrong about that being ScarJo, but
no, it was her.
It was
I
her.
remember that,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. What do you guys think about that? I know you guys, we all talked about this, but the Dutchman that wants to change his age by 20 years so he can put down that he's not 60, but he's 40 on Tinder, and so he can get car loans and house stuff. And he says he feels like a 40-year-old man. And he's like, if I can change my gender and I can change my name, why can't I change my age? And it's like, dude, seriously? Like, I see his point, but it's like, you look like you're 70 years old. You don't look like you're a 40-year-old man. Like, it's not going to, your appearance isn't going to change, and your body's not going to change just because you want to change the number. I guess the same thing happens with your gender, right? People feel like they want to be a certain age or do whatever. So the court's actually like going to look at maybe accepting him to be able to change
This
his
is
age.
UK, right?
There's in the UK. He's a Dutchman. When I read
And
the
he's
article,
a Dutchman in the UK?
yeah, he's like, I get turned away from women because I'm 69 and I'm not in like my 40s, so I want to change my name to 40 so I have a better chance to get with women. It's like, dude, people are going to still see you and be like, man, you're old as fuck.
Well, I mean, look, if he gets away with it, then
It's gonna
I say he shouldn't be allowed to get the senior discount anymore at Denny's. Can't have your cake and eat it too.
Well, and like it just opens up for like a weird conversation because every single time they're gonna be like, "You're 40 because you don't look 40." Oh well, legally I am 49. Like, okay, but you don't look 49. Like, he could just lean on that instead of like actually saying his true age. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of a slippery slope because, like, what if?
What's next? Yeah, what's next down the slope? Goddamn.
Yeah.
Like, it's like we already got. But look, I can argue that it's like, okay, with transgender, it's like you can take hormones, you can have corrective surgeries, but it's like you were born on this date. You can't. You are what you are. Like, if they legally allow this guy to say he's a different age, then yeah, that's just opening up like just so many issues. Seriously. Well, then it's just like, because here's one for you. It's like, well, then if we can just get our ages changed, well, why don't I just change my age to 16 and I go bang 16-year-olds?
I was just getting ready to say.
Well,
like,
that's what a lot of
what's-
people are saying, too,
What's
like-
to stop a girl from, if she's 16 to changing her age to 18?
Right, and these are the worst case scenarios
Is
here.
it still legal, or is it? It opens up way too many.
And it's just too much bullshit. We already have enough bullshit in the courts.
It's not. I don't think it's going to pass. Most people are saying it's a joke and he's doing it because.
How about just make a new profile and change your fucking age?
just
Dude,
lie.
someone
Just
actually
do what
did
everybody else does.
You know?
That's
Just
what someone
fucking
actually
lie.
did. Like, just lie about it. He's like, yeah, I could lie on Tinder, but I can't lie like if I want to get a house loan or a car loan or anything like that. He's like, because I'm 69, I'm liable. They don't, they don't know if they're gonna get the money back out.
Okay,
of you.
well, I mean, there's a reason those rules are in
Yes.
place. Like, well, yeah, of course, I'm not going to give a house loan to somebody who's going to keel over
Well,
in
and
15
here,
years.
let me,
You
and
know?
I feel like we're getting into fraud territory at that point. So it's
are.
like, there's no way that this is stupid shit.
Yeah, it's a bunch of more noise that are coming out. I mean, I couldn't pass up the article when I read it, and it says like, because it was like, man feels discriminated because on Tinder, and it's like, seriously, that's the title, and like, they make stupid titles, for clickbait shit, and it's like, when you read it, you see the guy's point, and it's like, cool, what do you want us to do? Like, what can you can't do anything about that, man, You made a good point though. It's like if he starts, then it's like the 16-year-old girl wants to be 21, so she go out and drink, and before you know it, she's gonna get raped or something's gonna happen, and it's gonna be like, oh well, she's 21, should have known what was gonna happen. She goes out and gets date raped or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Or I don't know. I'm just making shit up, but I'm saying that's the kind of scenarios that would come up upon us. But
Yeah.
Yeah, like what's to stop? Yeah, like what's to stop 13-year-olds from being like, I'm 21, I can get
Well-
beer legally. I'm 21. It was changed in the courts.
I can only think of negative things coming out of this. I know
Me
this
too.
guy's looking at it like, oh, this is going to be positive for me, but it's just like, well, is it a positive to that, that home loan company or your insurance? Like, no, it's fraud.
yeah, I don't know.
I hope the guy's wasting a lot of his own money on trying to get this through on lawyers or something. Like, I just hope.
Yeah, insurance companies. They would have to do some sort of like ultra background check to see like your actual date of birth.
The only way.
It's just getting stupid.
I know.
I mean,
It's
the
just
only
getting,
the only way I
know.
could see them letting them go by is if he was famous or had a lot of money, or both. Maybe he may let.
Money
them
could go a long way.
I know, but it's like if you had money. Here's the thing:
It's
it's like
just don't set a precedent. Like this is the time to stop that shit.
Right.
Like
if you're
stop it at the first case, and then it'll never happen again.
But yeah, if he was.
But
60,
if they let this one go through, it's just gonna be downhill from there.
what's going to change? But it's like if he's 69 and had a lot of money, he wouldn't have this problem.
Yeah,
Younger
let's
women
be
would come to
honest.
him,
Yeah,
right?
oh yeah.
You have money and you're famous, you wouldn't have any problem, or just one above. It's like
Well, I think he's relatively famous. He's not like ultra famous, but he did the voiceover for some movie in that version of the language, or it was like I think he did the Dutch version of a voiceover for a movie. I forgot what movie it was, but
Find out the name so I never watch it.
I think he's a voice actor or something. So like he's not like ultra famous, but
Yeah.
He's now on my blacklist.
yeah,
I think it was like Trolls 2 or something retarded, something stupid.
beautiful
Oh,
man,
I was just gonna watch that this
Yeah.
afternoon.
right?
I know that was on your playlist.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had it all queued up.
I am excited to see though Fantastic Beasts, the second one next week.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Yes.
If it's like if it's
The reviews from England, because they released in England last week, the red carpet and all the bullshit. They made like a fucking week out of it because
if it's as dark and gritty as Ezra Miller's costume, it's gonna be amazing.
dude, that costume, dude.
Costume, you mean evening wear?
I don't know what you call it, but it literally looked like a big giant thing of plastic. Like I said, like you found it like out of an Amazon box. Just
You guys ever
That's
watch
what it did
Doctor
look like. It
Who?
looked like he taped them all together. I've
Yeah.
never seen it, but I'm
But
familiar.
you know the main bad guy, like the Daleks or whatever.
Yeah, I
he
think
looked
so.
like one.
I don't think so. I'm not that familiar with it.
Jesus.
I tried watching it with this new doctor, the female doctor. She's actually pretty. I think she's pretty cute. But I was just jumping in to see what the show was about and to see if I could watch it. It's so like I like the British Office and I like the In-Betweeners. Like there are certain British shows that I like watching, but this show's like way too British.
Well, you're getting into British sci-fi now, which is its own beast.
it definitely is. Like I couldn't even make it through the first 10 minutes.
But
it was so like.
But no, it's one of those situations, and I guess personally, it's at a personal level. Like, it's like, because in my mind, it's like, Hulk and She-Hulk. It's like, what the fuck's the point of a She-Hulk? It's like you already have Hulk. But it's like, I can see, like, when they're making her a woman,
The
I know a
female
lot of
doctor.
people, like, said whatever, but it's like, who gives a shit? It's just Doctor Who.
Yeah, I think
But if you're trying to make a female James Bond, now we have issues. I'm not saying don't make spy movies featuring a female lead, but it just
Yeah,
goes back to don't recycle content.
Yeah,
Try
I
to
think-
change it over like one like stupid fucking thing.
I think for the Doctor Who, I think it does lend itself for like a female doctor, especially. in
the way
today's
it's
day and age. I
well,
mean,
plus the way the Doctor works is like the way they explain like the change in the actual actors because he like morphs or does some shit that it
Oh,
makes sense
see, I
even
didn't even know
like
that.
story wise that it's like cool. So
I
but
just started watching the new Sabrina on Netflix.
what'd you think? I had to turn it off.
I'm like halfway through the second episode. I was watching it with Steph.
I
So
haven't watched any of it yet, but Laura wanted to watch it, so I might turn it on.
I didn't care for it like at first, like first impressions, but I'm kind of growing into it. Like
Yeah.
after the second episode,
If
like,
you keep watching, let me know what you think.
seeing her go through the dark baptism and all that. I mean, that's the kind of shit that I like demons and demonomicons and grimoires, and I mean, I didn't realize like how much of that was in that universe because I remember seeing episodes of the previous version with Michelle Gellar, seeing that like here or there, but I didn't follow it. Obviously, I didn't watch it.
Hold on. You said she was Buffy.
Oh, okay.
Melissa Joan Hart
That's
was
right.
the Sabrina.
That's
I'm not
right.
trying
Yeah,
to be
no,
a douche.
I got it mixed
but
up.
Hey, you
I got it
douche.
mixed up.
Douche.
But I never watched that, so I didn't follow it. So it's
That's
like,
it. Somebody smash the douche button.
Well, it's
I
just
wish we had
interesting.
sound effects button.
Just interesting hearing all the terminology and.
Yeah, no,
Like
and
the
I
aunt's
saw.
name
Well,
is
look, I
Zelda.
saw Dark Baptism too, but I just couldn't take like in her non-witching life, like all the fucking
The kid
the
stuff at
bullshit,
school
the
and-
teenage, like and your gender neutral friend and all that shit. It's like just stop, because that was one of them. I'm not trying to make a big deal out of it, but that's why I turned it off. It's like I'm not here to get a fucking, course in political correctness. So I turned it the fuck off.
That's the problem. All these shows are fucking going this way, especially a lot of women shows, dude. I'm not trying to say it's just a woman thing, but it seems like Freeform, which was old Disney or whatever the
Well-
hell it was. It's like that's all their shows are about now.
Writers' rooms in the past have been notoriously known for like only having male writers, and that's changing, and like it's being reflected in the content. Like you can see it. I mean, sometimes it's not a bad thing, but I mean,
when's the last time you watched a show and you didn't see someone was gay in it or a movie? Let's be real.
well, it's the diversity thing.
Yeah, I get it. It's just that's just
Well-
the way everything goes.
And just to,
all inclusive.
Well, with Netflix, it's like, they got a show called Dear White People, but you think there'll ever be a show called Dear Black People?
Yeah.
Pull your pants up? No.
Dear black people.
I mean, I will give this to what Brian was saying though. Like, I like a good horror flick or some type of show like the House on Haunted Hill that came out. I know we can talk about that, but
Dude,
it's like
this show's amazing.
they don't make a lot of good stuff like that anymore. Like the content is so recycled and used. It's so hard to find good content. Like, dude, I watched, and this is more sci-fi, but I watched Alien vs Predator the other day, and I watched the regular Predator because it was on TV. They had like a series going.
I find better content under my couch cushions than
Yeah.
the shit they put out today.
I couldn't believe when I first watched that movie. I thought it was decent.
Hey, a quarter. Hey, a Cheerio. When was the last time I ate Cheerios?
I couldn't believe how bad it was, dude. That
Netflix
movie.
is sponsoring that Cheerio.
But yeah, the House
you
on
were
Haunted
calling
Hill.
Netflix. You've been greenlit.
You're an idiot. But the House on Haunted Hill.
Haunting of Hill House while
Haunting
I'm
of
being
Hills.
such a stickler today.
Yeah, why don't you stop being a douche? But anyway, the show.
Douche button.
It took me a while to grasp that name. I don't know, because I always wanted to call it like what you called it.
House on Haunted Hill.
Yeah, because that's a movie, right?
They're both, and both of those are actually based on the same book.
Oh, really?
Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
But yeah, what a great show. I mean, when I first watched it, I was like, man, it's just going to be one of those jump scares movies, they're jumping back and forth type of shit. And it wasn't. It was like an actual good show, good content.
I just felt like the writing was impeccable. Like it was amazing. Like I like how it focused like on each character for an episode, for a few episodes there. Like seeing Shirley, like showing how she became an embalmer.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was good.
Her
That was
experience
nice.
with death
Her
as a
experience
kid.
with death with her mother. Like that was great. And then like seeing Theo, because like at first I noticed she had gloves before they showed like what her power was, and then you're like, why does she got gloves? And then there's one scene, I think it's like when she comes downstairs to that guy's,
Yes.
and she pulls her gloves off slowly, and then like it's like central shot, it's the main focus. You see her pulling her gloves off, and then she starts touching things, and you're like, okay. It's like it started to make sense.
She's
and
got like a second sight.
yeah,
Yeah.
but just like the way because at first, they have the wine box, and she's like, oh, this isn't trash or whatever. And then like they slowly show you more and more about like what's going on.
Yeah,
with
and
her
it
and
it was
power.
cool figuring out how she was finding all the shit in the house because she could see things and stuff, and she figured out from her mom. Her mom had the same gift, and her
Well, it's
grandma had the
like
same
in a
gift.
previous episode, they'd show her saying like, "Oh, I'm cold," but you think she's just a kid, and maybe she's just cold or whatever. But then you find out later on that the reason that's why she's cold all the times because she's got that extra sensitive touch or whatever. It's just it was so clever the way they did that. It was so well done.
I'll say about it is, so I went in, when I first heard about the show, I was really excited. I was like, okay, Netflix horror series.
I think we talked about it
just-
last
and
podcast
then-
too when we saw it.
And then you see the trailer, and it was kind of lackluster. I mean, don't get me wrong, there was some scenes where it was like, oh, this might be good, but I still wasn't expecting much. But then you get into it, and I mean, I just describe it seriously, man. It's not a traditional horror. I can't say film because it's a show, but it's like it's not traditional horror. It's like family drama in a haunted house more so, and it's like it's not you don't have your cheesy tropes. You don't have like, I mean, you still have some jump scares, but they're very well placed. But
reminded me of-
it's like just so much more fleshed out story and like backstory.
It reminded me of It with like the kids and then the adults.
Yeah,
Like, kind of going back and touching on their past. And it also reminded me of season 1 American Horror Story
Yeah.
with the haunted house.
Oh, that was the best one.
It was really good.
I think
That's what it
I
reminded me
brought
of.
that up to Sam. It's like American Horror Story. The first season was really good, but it's like after that, I couldn't watch it anymore. It just went downhill.
I like season 1 and 2. Season 1 and 2 were really good. 3, Coven was okay. And then I feel like it kind of went downhill from there.
Well, I just remember we were watching Coven at the same time, and it just got to the point where it was just like,
It was
what
laughable.
the fuck?
Like
Yeah,
when they
we
were
just
doing,
yeah.
Well, when they started doing the singing numbers in the carnival season, that's
Fuck
when I
that.
just
I
I
hate
was
And
like,
I bowed out after Coven. I couldn't.
Oh, you
'cause then I
did?
remember you were telling me
Oh,
about
yeah.
Freak Show and about I think you even made me watch. I think you're like, look this up on YouTube. It smells like Teen Spirit. or
yeah,
some
they were doing
shit.
musical covers.
And,
They did like a few of them throughout the season, and that was one of them.
And I just wanted to put a fucking
so
any
bad.
caliber of gun in my mouth and just pull the trigger until my life ended.
God.
But yeah, the twist at the end of that the show was my favorite part of the whole movie. Like coming
Yeah,
down-
don't spoil it.
I'm not.
Oh, I can't help it. It was a dream the whole time.
Yeah,
What are you talking about? The haunting?
yeah, the ending. Like I had an idea what it was, but I didn't exactly guess. I think Sam guessed it before I did, and I was like, man,
What are you talking about?
the ending of
Like which ending specifically?
the one where they're in the. I'm just gonna say it. They're in the red room the entire time. in
Oh
the
yeah,
fucking
yeah, okay.
house. Like I
Well,
was
you
like,
could have just said Red Room.
yeah.
Red rum.
It was-
Red rum.
It was good, man. Like, and the way his dad had to sacrifice himself to save the family, that was kind of cool. Like, I liked that whole spiel. But there was an alternate ending. Did you know about the alternate ending already?
I heard that there was going to be a different ending.
Yeah, so
I
the
saw an
ending
article, but I
was-
didn't read it because I hadn't seen the show at the time.
At the end, when you see them like blowing out the cake for what's his name, because being sober and being good, the brother, the reflection in the glass actually shows them still inside the red room, like they never left it.
Yeah,
entire
the
time.
window in the red room was very distinct, apparently.
Yeah.
And then, like, so it was going to be like you're panning in, you see them all happy around the
You
cake,
see
and
that
then
window?
there will be like, yeah, there was going to be like the last flash would have been a look up to the window.
But I'm glad they left it off like that because.
Well, you would have had to have rearranged that whole last episode if you think about it,
Yep.
because with the whole dad and sacrifice and the brother walking out with all the ghosts and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
it's like you would have had to have reworked all of that to make that fit. You still could have done it.
So his dad
I mean, it was
passed.
proposed.
It's like his dad passed a torch to him to protect the house and like what was going on for the ghost in there. 'Cause, like, I didn't really get the
Okay.
last part.
I'm about to go on a little rant because this is kind of this is the only thing that bothers me about this show. Okay, so you have this house, okay, and I looked at it like this, and this is my interpretation. So you look out however you want, but this was me. Is that okay? This house is an evil entity. Obviously, it's just like because usually with haunted house stories, it's like violent deaths or it's something. It's not like somebody who just passed away. Usually, it's something fucked up. So here you have this haunted house full of fucked up ghosts, and I mean and then they're fucking haunting these kids and scaring the shit out of them. But then you get towards the end where there's the tea party and the little girl dies, and then
Dude,
there's
that
the
was
ghost.
brutal.
Dude, I didn't like that at all.
But from there, it's just like, and then you hear the pleading with the caretakers talking about like, oh, leave the house, like whatever. Because
They
he was
knew.
like, I'm gonna burn it to the ground, and it was just like, and I'm willing to admit, it's just like there are probably some ghosts who don't have bad intentions. But I just hate the positive spin they put on it because it's like it's a haunted fucking house, and it's like because then he ran his wife in there when she was dying, so she could become a ghost, and it's
Yeah,
like
part of the house.
and it's like so you're turning in something. It's like it's not supposed to be a good thing to be a ghost in a goddamn haunted house, but they try to spin it to make it look like. And then the dad, gave up his life, and there's just for me there was a little bit too much positivity there as far as like changing into ghosts in the house when it's like let's just rein this back in for a second. It's a haunted fucking house. house with fucked up ghosts in there, and it's just like it's not supposed to be a positive thing.
Yeah.
And that's ran over.
Well,
That just kind of bothered me.
Yeah, as soon as I found out that Abigail was real when they had the tea party, because they had showed them going up to have that tea party previously in like a previous episode. So as soon as that was going down, I was like, okay, here we go. This is the night of
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
that
thought.
last night.
That's what I thought too.
So I was like, okay, here we go. So then they show Abigail, and they show that she was actually a real girl, and I was like, that's got to be the caretaker's daughter. Because I remember the woman, the wife, talking about her daughter, how she was like always trying to be super protective of her and like didn't want her out and
Homeschooled.
experiencing all that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I could tell that was her daughter right away. But it's like, be responsible parents. If you know the house is haunted and you've lived there how many years, and it's like, yeah, your daughter's there and her spirit's there, but like, wouldn't you want to burn the house down too, and like get some closure on the whole thing and move on with your
Yeah,
life?
let the ghosts move on. Because like
Instead
they're
of living at the cottage at the end of the property and just, you know.
Because and that's it too. Is like a ghost is like someone who's stuck in between, like true afterlife
limbo.
and in life and afterlife, and it's like limbo. And it's like not supposed to be a positive fucking thing.
No.
And they spun it like, oh, now they're gonna be a family for all eternity. It's like no, it's like houses crumble and age, and it's just like you don't keep up with that house, and you're talking about just like keeping it locked up, but it's like.
So when he left the inn, all the
don't
ghosts were
know.
like watching him walk out of the house. Was that them like accepting and like letting him go? Or
Well,
what-
I don't
what was that
know
part?
because I'll tell you this. Okay, so if we're talking about that last episode, okay, you remember when because the son who never saw a ghost, really, even though the dad explained to him he did, the clock guy, but he didn't realize it.
Oh, Andy's on Nell.
And Nell.
Yeah.
Steve.
But when him and the dad went back to go after the little brother, and it's like the big guy with the bowler hat, it just gets in his face, and he's just like, "Look at me, Stevie, look at me," making sure he didn't look.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there was something to that, because then towards the end when all the ghosts are behind him and he's going to leave and he's like stops and you think he might turn around, you're like, oh fuck, don't turn around, there's a bunch of ghosts. It's like, is there something to that? Like if he would have turned around, would they like ganged up on him or something? Or if he would have looked at the
I
guy
think-
with the
like- I
hat,
think
would
it's
he have been
Mario
like
Ghost.
I thought after
Like
his
Super Mario Ghost, don't look at him.
the way
Yeah.
They come at you.
the way I look at it is after his dad passed the torch to Steve, they kind of gave him safe passage to walk out of the house without them fucking with him. Is the way I looked at it. But
that's actually that I really like that.
that's the only way I can
Is
think in my
like
head.
just ushering him out. They're
Yeah.
like,
Well,
go ahead.
The only thing I didn't like about Steven's character was like at the very beginning, episode 1, he's doing that paranormal investigation because he's like looking for the truth, and then when the truth slaps him in the face, he's like, "Oh, I don't know, you guys are crazy."
right?
I had problems with his character. He was always an asshole. Like he was overly asshole-ish when he didn't really need to be.
Because
Did you recognize him
yeah,
from other shows, from a different show?
he looked
No.
familiar.
That's Dario Naharis from Game of Thrones.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, the
Yeah, the
No way.
What's
the recast version, the new
Yeah.
version.
Because I
Okay.
remember they switched in the season.
Yeah,
He was
that's
the new
him.
one.
Yeah.
No way.
Because I was like, what? He looks so familiar. I had to look him up, and yeah, that's him. That's
Interesting.
Khaleesi's right-hand man or whatever.
I just felt like he was like one of those kids where he grew up and all of his family would believe something. He just rejected it because he didn't want to be known as the crazy guy. Like he was supposed to be. I'm saying.
Well, yeah,
and
well,
I'm
because
fine."
look, he said it himself. Even he's like, my mental illness runs in my family, and my mother was ill, and And
I still think the
he's-
craziest thing about the show, sorry to interrupt you, was their mom was still.
It's okay here. I'm going to re-interrupt you. Just stop. So, anyways, just go ahead.
When they were leaving the house and he told Steve to close his eyes, or whatever, his mom was still not fucked. But like I think you told me instead, it's like no, she was already taken by that point. Like the house wasn't gonna let her leave.
I looked at it like after the conversation she had with the one ghost,
Poppy.
it was like after that she was done for. I mean, I think that was the final.
Once she was seen, because no one else saw Poppy. Once she started seeing Poppy and got in her head, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I did really like how that the trauma of that night like played into the future of their lives. Like, how Luke, he was at the tea party and watched his friend die by being poisoned, and then he poisons himself for the rest of his life, with a drug addiction. Like that was pretty clever.
Yeah,
It was just so well done.
It-
Writing.
it-
Back to the writing.
it was
The
really good.
writing was great.
Still, the biggest mindfuck was Nell to me out of all of it. Besides
Dude,
Rubber.
honestly, that was like the one moment in the show. It was like sheer terror. Like seeing her, like seeing the initial hanging. It was like okay, whatever. And then it hung there for like 10 seconds, and then seeing her plop down another level, and then seeing like her seeing that it was just oh my god,
My
she was,
heart
I get
my
chills.
heart, yeah,
like,
I was
oh,
chill.
my
My
God.
heart
Yeah.
was racing. I was like, what?
It was like a
is
sheer
going
terror. You're just like,
on?
what? Yeah.
So the house made
It
her
was incredible. That
pretty
was
much
like one of the best
made her
horror,
do it.
horror moments I've seen in a movie or show ever.
Yeah,
that was
the
really
entire
well
time,
done.
like he said, was haunting herself. Like that's
Yeah,
insane.
dude,
God,
haunted
so fucked
person.
up. Well, can you
haunting
imagine that being
yourself.
your end?
No,
Like, could you imagine like?
Your whole life,
you're-
you're getting glimpses of the way you fucking die, but
You're-
you don't realize.
Well, then
it.
you
the
die, and then
Batman
you
for
see
me.
past versions
and
of
then,
yourself.
yeah,
Like climaxing, like with you, like the first time you seen yourself as a little girl. Like, oh my god, that was intense.
Now, to me, is that what she looked like as the ghost, that all black and stuff, or was she just seeing herself?
She just couldn't see her face. That was
Yeah.
her. She just couldn't. She couldn't see
So
it.
now in their ghostly world of all the ghosts living in the house, do you think she's still going to be a bent neck lady, or is she just going to be Nell?
She's just gonna be Nell.
I think she'll just be now because like
Yeah.
she kind of gave up the bent neck lady stuff after they knew who it was. I guess.
I guess that was just her personal torment,
I
and now
guess,
her
yeah.
spirit's probably just going to be. Yeah, I guess yeah. I
I'm
mean,
just
she
glad-
showed
She should have done that whole last scene in the red room like this though.
Yeah.
Like with her neck bent.
yeah, all creepy looking.
I'm just glad.
I don't need your help, thanks.
I'm just glad from reading from the writers that they're doing a second season. They say it's gonna be a prequel. They don't know for sure, but that's what That's what they're pointing towards, and they're not using any of the same cast.
I'm glad, like you said, I'm glad they're not. The family story's over.
It's
Like,
over.
In regards to the house, their story's been
They
told.
don't need to ruin that by
they don't,
expanding
yeah,
on it.
and they don't need to branch out and do like a one shot with any one of those characters. It's like it's all nicely neat wrapped up. It's like
So
let's
now-
go back or let's go way forward to where Steve might be old as a caretaker.
And he wrote a book.
And then maybe he dies, so like the house comes up. So either go way into the future, or but yeah, I personally would love to see because it's not called Hill House because it's on a hill. The family
family,
before them was
yeah.
called the Hills
So-
that built it, and I want to see their stories.
Yeah, I'd like to see the Hill story and how they
How
became.
they slowly degraded into
Right,
like you
what
know
happened in-
crazy.
Exactly.
why he bricked himself in.
Yeah, why he bricked himself and all that stuff happened. Also, I also thought that one part Steve was sitting on the couch with his wife and she was pregnant and he was writing the book. I thought he was writing the book and it was just going in the future, that he was writing the book of what happened to them to get to that point.
That was a flash forward after the events of the show.
Yeah, that's what I was meaning. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I thought. I was like, wow, is he in the future right here? And then it was just,
But then she started grilling him.
yeah. And
Yeah,
then
that was-
stomach blew
You know what
up.
that reminded me of? You remember 1408?
Yeah.
When he thought he was out and he wrote the whole goddamn book, and then he
Yeah.
gets to the post office, and then dudes just start breaking down
Smash
the
the
walls,
walls.
and he just realizes he's still in the room.
That's fucked up.
God.
It's a
Great
cra-
movie.
That was a great movie.
1408.
Yeah, that was a cool part too. But yeah, I definitely would like to see the backstory where they came from because that would just make.
Look, Poppy's already established as a very interesting character. I would love to see more on her, and then yeah, like just more on the bowler hat guy.
I think that was her husband, William Hill.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sam pointed
They-
out to me at one point when we were talking about it that the guy, you see the guy with the bowler hat in a picture when she was showing the tea. She's like, "Where'd you get that tea party set?" And he's like, "Oh, I got it up from the toy room." Right? And she shows that picture.
I was watching the like Easter egg thing on YouTube after I got done watching to like see what I missed and see what was what. And they were speculating. I don't know if there's anything definitive in the show showing this, but they were speculating that Mr. Deadly is illegitimate son of the Hills, of
Okay.
Poppy Hill,
Uh-huh.
and that's why like he stayed on the premises and lived in the cottage over the years. It's like he might have some relation to the Hill family as well.
Yeah, I like that twist, and it's
That
little
sounds
stuff
better.
like that you throw in that just makes it all the more. I'm just such a lore whore. Like I just the deeper it goes, just the more into it.
Have
I
you guys
am.
watched that show on what's it called? It's on
Lore
Hulu. It's called Lore or something like that. Yeah, Lore Whore,
No.
Volume 5.
Lore? Yeah, no, I watched a few
My
episodes.
cousin Tim, if you're listening to this, faggot, he told me that it's a good show to watch. Because he's big into horror and all kind of stuff, and he told me that was a really good show. He said it was hit and miss. He said there's a couple good episodes. I don't know if it's like different episodes per what, and it doesn't stay the same. But he said it was good to check out. Something if you were into horror and shit. So, yeah, you guys haven't listened to his radio station yet, have you? Yeah,
Not yet.
it's pretty good.
I'm not. Look,
He
I'm
plays a
not
lot-
opposed to metal, but
he
it's
plays
just
a lot
not
of-
my.
He plays a lot of grunge and 90s music. He plays a lot of throwbacks too. Like
Does he?
Yeah, so he has this part at air. Like I think on Fridays is the only metal day, But like the other day, he's like, "Hey, tune in," and he was talking.
Okay,
while
I'm
he's
sorry.
playing
I thought
radio.
you said he was running a metal station.
Only, no. During the week, it's college radio, and they play whatever.
Okay.
He has one dedicated day on Fridays where he can play metal, and he gets thousands of people that listen to him because no one plays metal stations. He says because it's on internet radio. But then like during the week, he'll get on for like an hour or two, and he'll play like a lot of throwbacks and stuff. And it's not just like 105.7 where they play, you know, Red Hot Chili Peppers and stuff.
I used to want to start a metal radio station around here, like an FM station, but like there's it's so super expensive, so many hoops you have to jump through, and not only that, but like you only get the rights to play the songs that they allow, so like singles and you can't just play whatever you want. So it's like
That's so stupid.
How does college radio get away with it? Because they get to play whatever the fuck they want.
I'll have to ask. I'll have to ask. him.
Yeah,
that's a good question.
Because no, like they'll play shit that
Dude,
it's like.
he can play anything he wants, pretty much.
I just because I love Lindenwood, The Wood, 89.1 The Wood. It's fucking great. And they'll
Is it
play
really?
shit. They'll play my shit. I listen to like new age folk music and like indie-ish kind of, just softer, more like stripped down, like acoustic and a guy singing kind of shit. But it's just like it's so funny because it's like Ray LaMontagne. They play him. He's got a song lyric where it's like, you're never gonna hear this on the radio. And I heard that song on the radio thanks to Lindenwood. I just thought it was fucking hilarious.
I remember in high school when I was dating Carissa, right over there, the house that was like 2 houses over was there was 2 radio stations that were alternative. It was The Point and another station. Their station was ran out of their basement.
I remember that. I know the girl you're talking about.
You remember that?
She played soccer with Chris, and I believe.
Yeah, and her family.
Her mom ran the radio station.
Yeah.
Was it 93X?
That's what it was, 93X.
What?
Yeah.
I remember 93X.
It was
It was
right-
good.
It was cool. You could like see they had big satellites in their backyard and shit for
I
the
forgot
radio.
the girl's name, but yeah, her mom ran that. Like she was the lady that would always talk come on the commercials or whatever. Like no commercials or whatever.
Yeah, man. No, 93X was fucking quality
Yeah.
compared to. God, I'd listen to somebody fart for 5 minutes in person than The Point for more than 1 hour.
Dude, isn't it
man.
crazy
Point
how-
sucks shit.
Radios still stand the test of times when like we got this new age of streaming and all this type of music, and radio it's just never died.
I'll tell you though, I haven't listened to radio in probably years, honestly.
Really?
Like I can't even remember the last time that I turned on the radio. Like, as soon as I get in my phone, as soon as I get in my car, my phone hooks up via Bluetooth. And it's either music or podcast. It's like
Yeah.
I never fuck around with the radio anymore.
That's what I pretty much do too. But sometimes, like in my mom's car right now, and I didn't feel like hooking up to shit, and I've been turning on the radio just in the morning, just listen to The Point and listen to them talk, and they talk about a couple of certain things if I want to hear the weather or some shit like that. But
I used to listen to the morning show. Like I remember it being
It's
like,
okay.
either funny or informative. Like,
I hate Patrico and I hate the other guy.
Yeah,
too.
that's the only reason I tune in. I'm just waiting for Patrico to die from a massive coronary, so I'm just waiting for the day.
But yeah, dude, radio it's the same. Like
God,
nothing's
Patrico's
changed.
such a
I
fat
mean,
fucking faggot.
It's literally the same shit. They play the mainstream music on all the radio stations that you've never heard of and nobody likes apparently.
well, I'm sorry, but like at some point you have to change the name of the station because it's no longer rock. Whatever they're playing.
It's not
whatever-
No,
alternative.
they no. It's
It's
so
pop-
funny
it's
because do
pop
you remember
culture.
how different? I remember in middle school and high school how different Z1077 was. The pop music shit from 105.7 truly was like more alternative, but now you will literally hear the same songs getting played on both of
Dude,
those fucking stations.
I was gonna say that. There's a day they had both the same songs playing at the exact same time on both stations. I
Yeah,
was like,
they need to change it. It's not alternative anymore. They need to call
well, I
it
know
like
they. I know
alt pop or some
I know
shit.
Z1077 is owned by the Point or vice versa. They own both of them, right?
Yeah,
So-
it's, I mean they're all owned by the same.
but they're not alternative rock, or they're not even a rock station anymore. It's like pop, queer music. I'm just gonna call it queer because it is literally the worst music you listen to I've ever heard.
I'm just gonna call it queer.
Because this is the way it is, man. It's just terrible.
Yeah, I remember like this is going back years. I remember being in my babysitter's van when I actually had a babysitter. So this is probably like early '90s, mid '90s, and
Don't lie, it's your care. This was last week.
last week, and like hearing the stuff that they would play on the Point, like Soundgarden, Pearl Jam,
Yeah.
Alice in Chains, like all the shit that was popular back then, like. That was when the Point was amazing to me. Like, in
Dude,
its
that's when the
heyday.
Point was big. Those concerts were huge. Everything they went down. Like we're gonna play some, Blink 182 or something like that. And, I'm just making shit up or whatever. But like the music nowadays, I've never heard of probably about the 20 of the bands they play. Never heard of any.
What sucks is like it's kind of a weird circle where it's like people get used to whatever's playing on the radio, because that's popular, so they listen to that. Well, then they get used to listening to that, so then that's what they like because that's what's on the radio. When I was a kid, I didn't know anything about music other than what was on the radio. So it's like these kids listening to the radio, they're getting used to listening to something, so it's like they like that. And then it's like since they like that, they put out more stuff like that. You know,
Dude,
it's like a weird circle
classic
where it's like-
conditioning.
Yeah.
It really is.
It
It's
is.
like it's conditioning.
Because I remember when I found out about music that wasn't on the radio, specifically like metal. When I first got into metal, and like going on Amazon and looking up an album that I liked, and like seeing all the different artists and albums from people that bought the same one, and just being blown away at how much stuff is out there that doesn't get played on the radio.
Yeah.
That's like really, really good.
And I will speak to internet radio nowadays. Great too. I actually switched. I had to stop listening to Pandora because I thumbed up too much stuff, and now it just goes through my thumbs up. And I don't know if it's just free Pandora or what, but I ended up getting Spotify, and Spotify's actually personally I love it way better.
I hear good things.
It is
And,
good.
I know
but
a
yeah,
lot of
no.
people
So
have it.
I just love it because you turn on the internet radio, and it's just like they're not beholden to like things like the regular radio. It's like you'll never know what the fuck the next thing's gonna play, but it'll be related to what you just listened to. And it's like I can't tell you. It's like crack. It's like being on crack now. Like how compared to like how I used to find music to how I find it now. It's like every week I'm finding some new band or song that I'm just loving. And it's never been like that before, dude. Like, because even if like, and this is what's nice about Spotify is like you'll be listening to a playlist or whatever, even a song, and it's just like if you don't have anything else queued up, it'll automatically just go into like a radio. It'll build on the fly a radio station tailored around that goddamn song you just listened to, and then go into something.
Some interesting I read the other day, or someone was talking about, was how internet radio used to be the podcast of what people used to listen to nowadays. Like, you know, like Howard Stern, The Point was the man, and everybody still listens to Howard. He's still got a huge following. But if he went to podcast, everybody would switch because, you know, he'd still probably do it live and stuff like that. But it's just like, it's crazy to see the transition where talk shows on radios are still there, but they don't have the following like they do like podcasts. Everybody goes to listen to podcasts now. So now you start hearing radio stations like, tune in after this and listen to our live podcast, or listen to our podcast after the show or something like that. I've noticed a lot of radio stations doing that.
Yeah, look, okay, even to that point, like internet, like subscription radio, I'm gonna call it, not like Pandora or whatever, but like Sirius or XM or whatever. So it's like, okay, nowadays, who has more influence? You think Howard Stern or Joe Rogan?
Joe Rogan.
Case in point. I mean, it's like Howard Stern's a fuck all nobody anymore. He can do whatever the fuck. No one gives a shit anymore. He used to be relevant when he was reaching out to, you know, millions of people, but he boxed himself in Sirius, and it's like, how many people do you know with a Sirius subscription?
He got out of it though. He's not in Sirius anymore.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
I thought he was.
I'm pretty sure he got out of it.
Where's he at now?
I think he's just online. You can get him on like YouTube and shit. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought
He was still in Sirius.
oh, maybe he is. Okay. I don't listen
You
to
can
it.
get clips, I'm sure, still probably.
I just remember in high
but-
school, I actually brought a radio
he's
with
keeping
me.
Sirius in business.
Probably.
Right.
I brought a radio. I used to bring it with me in class just to listen to Howard Stern in the morning, first hour. Like my Spanish class, I would get blazed out of my mind and just put in Howard Stern and listen to him. I wouldn't even listen to Spanish.
Do you remember the TV show on E? They would play like because they were, I guess, always recording shows,
Yeah.
but they would play like on E.
His recorded television show? Yeah.
Yeah, dude. It used to be like seriously back in the day. It was Wild On with Brooke Burke and
Yeah.
fucking the Howard Stern show. It was like, and then like between those two shows, there'd be umpteen billion, however many Girls Gone Wild commercials.
Jeez. I mean,
That song's just burned into my that Caribbean like music.
I can hear
It's
it.
just
I can
like
hear the
yeah,
steel drums right now.
it's like burned into my brain.
dude, what an easy idea. Like some guy in college, like, let's just record hot girls at parties.
Because
getting
didn't
naked.
it start? Well, I thought it started with like Mardi Gras. People just started recording vids at like Mardi Gras, and then they went to start going to party spots.
Right.
Once their
chicks-
name was out there, they didn't need the beads anymore.
Yeah.
Because then it was all about like literally girls would just want a Girls Gone Wild shirt, right?
Yeah. That's all it was. And he would wear a shirt and go around. People like, oh yeah, and then we get all excited and just get naked and do whatever for him to go backstage and do crazy shit with on camera. It's like for a fucking t-shirt.
And I know that I think a lot of, well, I shouldn't say a lot, but I know
the
some
pre-internet
girls.
age, that was genius.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. I know some girls probably end up regretting that afterwards, but it's like, don't worry, girls. Nobody watches that shit anymore.
It's their
like,
heyday. That was heyday.
Yeah.
That's what's weird too, and like when you think
Yeah, we
about
got
it,
Snapchat for that now.
like with the internet, like, you know, how like one video gets copied and uploaded to multiple sites. It's like these people, you know, making sex videos and uploading them to whatever, and then it's just there. It's just on the internet forever, you know? It's like, yeah, it might not bite you in the ass now, but like what if like 30, 40 years from now and you have kids or grandkids and they
Yeah.
stumble upon that
Dude,
video.
that's a
you know,
great
like-
point. I was reading something on Reddit yesterday, actually, because I'm looking into setting up an Amazon camera in Link's room so I can watch him on my fucking phone or stream it to the TV when we go to sleep or whatever. I want to watch him, see what the hell he's doing in his crib. There's a subreddit, and you might know that, you guys might know this, that has millions of people who've hacked into people's cameras that are unsecure, and you can watch live feeds of everything in the world. I mean, all around the world, people's cameras at their homes, their doorbells, at stores. I mean, pretty much any place you think people put fucking cameras, they're out there. And there's this huge following, and they like love keeping them up online. It's like some guy I was reading from the article was like, you know what, I wouldn't mind telling this one guy, because he's got like 30 cameras in his house, but he's like, I love watching them. And he's like, what would be the fun in that if I told him that, you know, he's on camera all day and I could see what him and his family are doing all day. It's like, dude, that's fucking scary. It makes me think twice about if I should put a camera in my house. But I think you have to put the security and know how to do it the right way. Most people are dumb and they don't.
Yeah, that sounds like just non-secured network
I was
shit.
gonna
Yeah.
say it sounds like a router with a default admin password or something.
Yeah.
or-
Because, what scares me more is that fucking Amazon Echo and
Yeah.
voice-activated shit. Because
They
that's
can
the kind of
listen in.
shit that, it might be off, but you never know when it's really listening.
Well, you know,
Well, the thing with like the latest Xbox One, it has voice commands built in to shut it off and on. So if the thing's off and it's powered off,
But you need a
how does it
voice.
get a voice command to turn on unless it's always listening, unless it's, you know.
right?
right.
So-
There was another point someone made. He's like, don't just think that people are watching your cameras, like your internal cameras on your computer, the Echoes, smart TVs, smartphones. People can get into anything they want.
And just to sound like a conspiracy nut, just because it's like I wouldn't put anything past the NSA anymore. It's like, dude, okay, look, your phone, current day phone, smartphones, you got 2 cameras on it, and I mean, it's obviously it's a recording device. It's a phone. You're talking to it.
It's always on
It's
you.
like
GPS.
it's always on. It's like I swear to you, as long as it's like I really think that if they wanted to, like, and they're not even getting to that warrant shit because thanks to like at post 9/11, like some of the freedoms that they get now, like through the Patriot Act and shit. It's like I do think that they can fucking listen
can.
in whenever the fuck they want or look at the camera whenever they fuck they want.
Have you ever seen Snowden?
I haven't seen it, but I know the whole premise behind what happened with Snowden.
After watching
and
that,
that's
and
and
the
this is where this is coming from.
And the
is-
programs and shit they wrote and used, it's unbelievable what the stuff they can do. They can take an algorithm just from social media and pinpoint stuff and link stuff to people based off of who you're friends with and who they're friends with to figure out if you're friends with terrorists and if you're here in this country to do something illegal. Like they use that kind of stuff against people all the time.
Have you seen the tech scientists in China with the like facial recognition and shit that they have? They have these camera systems that have like ultra sensitive facial recognition software so they can identify people as they're walking through the streets.
Yep.
Well, I just saw an article this last week that they've updated it to now to where they can identify you based on your walk. Like they can identify you
your gait.
like on how you walk,
Yeah.
basically.
That's fucking insane.
That's
like I
it's
know.
crazy.
Because they have CCTV like in the UK, right? They got like just cameras pointed at like anything and
Yeah.
everything, like just down the street, on the
Dude,
sidewalks and stuff.
Cisco telepresence now, they have this new thing where with facial recognition, they can tell who's in the room. So if me and you walked in the room and we join a video, it will have our name underneath us on there. It's not there yet, but the new code is coming out. Literally, and it will it's like a template. They keep everybody in their little fucking storage thing. So every time we come in a meeting, it'll know who it is. And when people are on there around the room, it'll just have your name underneath your display.
What scares me is like, even if it's not being used maliciously yet, the fact that it exists means that somebody will try to use it that way.
Well, I mean, just like Face ID with your phone. I mean, same reason. Someone
Well-
gets into Apple's shit. That's a powerful tool they can use, maliciously.
Yeah, well, and it scares me more from the corporate level is it's like there's no checks or balances, and on top of these are private corporations that are running this shit. This isn't the government. The government's not involved. It's like, and every time you know the end user license agreement and you say I accept, and it's like and it's 50 fucking pages and no one really reads that shit, and it's just like who really knows
They
what
sell
we're
you to
signing
someone's
away?
asshole, and then for
Yeah, it's just
centipedes.
and that's the only thing. It's like I'm not saying it's like we need government to intervene to like put protections in. I don't think that's the answer, but it's like I don't know what the fucking answer is. All I know is the future's kind of scary because it's like, and then think about like, just to branch off, but kind of similar. It's like, do you know how much Google knows about me? Like seriously, they've got a better profile on me. They probably know more about me than you guys do, and it's crazy because of the way they data collect. And I just hate it that it's a private corporation. But I did hear this within the past years that data is more valuable than oil nowadays.
It is.
And I believe it because of
It
the
is.
age of data. It's like, dude, like targeted advertising, and
That's why the Facebook
that's just
thing
like
was
the
such a
beginning
huge
of
thing,
it,
dude.
Yeah, and it's just I don't know, man. So, I mean, I don't have any answers. All I know is there's some scary shit. It's like I'm not trying to be anti-technology, but it's like, god
Right.
damn, it's like what can we do to get some checks and balances in this motherfucker? Cause
Did you see that article?
walk all over us.
The guy who invented Ring, I think it was. Is it Ring or is it what's the other? No, Nest. The guy did Nest. Like his kids are to a point now like where they won't even like talk to their dad. Like they're always doing like facial time stuff with their family and doing stuff, and the wife blames it on him and like blames like the progressiveness of people wanting video everywhere and doing stuff like this on him. Like there's a huge article about it.
That was started way before Nest came around.
Yeah, that's why I said.
Like
I think it was
it's
just
not like
to
he not like he kickstarted that movement with Nest.
Somebody's
No.
wife's a bitch.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, I think the article was just kind of clickbait, but it was just interesting listening that his wife was trying to like push that on him, and it's like, if anything, he was trying to make things safer for people, if anything. So,
Well, that's the thing with security is it's like, and that's why a lot of people thought like 9/11 was an inside job, or one of the primary reasons is because
Because it was.
well, it's like you give up your liberties. More securities means less liberty. That's what it comes down
and,
to.
yeah, and there's that old timey saying or whatever. Those who give up a little bit of freedom for security deserve neither.
yeah. The one thing I do want to bring up, they just passed those laws or whatever in Missouri or whatever, especially the medical weed one or whatever. I just read a thing out today. It says, even if you can know people that are going to get like their cards and get stuff, corporations can still fire you over it regardless.
Yeah, no, it's still illegal at a federal level.
Meaning, even if you have your card, they don't have to condone saying that if you have your card, they can fire you over
It's
it.
an insurance liability.
Yeah. Well, I think
same reason. I mean, they're still going to drug test, even if it was completely illegal. The
We
company
need-
would still
yeah,
drug test
so
for it.
look, here's the deal.
I think it
There's-
depends on what job you have.
There's
too.
always going to be jobs that are going to drug test for it, regardless. They're not going to like it. I think over time now that I think you're going to end up with a more accurate saliva test, just to test like instead of like because blood tests just show you've done it within a month, but it's like I do think we're going to get to a point where you're going to be able to test. It's like have you consumed it recently? As far because I know the whole big push back against is like, well, everybody's driving intoxicated, so it's like. And you can't really test them like you can with the blood alcohol content.
Yeah, because
so
someone
they-
could smoke like 4 days ago. You test them, they
yeah,
test positive.
and that's not and that's not right.
Yeah.
So I
But I
think
mean-
I think with the introduction, so you're gonna have that, and then some jobs will, and then will always drug test, but then I think some will loosen up. But they got to drop the scheduling at the federal level before a lot of industries will allow that, and until you get that at the federal level, it's like, dude, you're still talking about an industry where they can't bank because it's illegal at a federal level. That's why everything is handled in cash in all those states with medical marijuana.
Right. That makes sense. I'm just thinking about it's like if you're the receptionist at some company and you're a truck driver, I get the truck driver. If you're a receptionist, who's going to know? Do you legally have to report to your work that said, I got a medical card now, I'm smoking it, but they don't know? It's like something you do recreational or when you need to do it for whatever, disability or something you have wrong with you. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe you have PTSD or whatever the hell it is. Legally, do you have to report that to work, or how's that work? Like,
Okay, so like
I don't
right
know.
now, for controlled substances that are legal but scheduled, that you need a prescription for, so you're supposed to. Like, say I had a prescription for like Percocet or Xanax, it's like, as far as the policies at my job goes, I'm supposed to report that to somebody to let them know that, hey, I'm on a controlled substance.
If you're taking it during work business hours.
Correct.
I'm talking about if you're not taking it during work business hours. Like for example, I have anxiety, so I take Xanax. I bring it with me to work. people know that I have anxiety and I have Xanax, but I don't go to HR and say, hey, I bring
And in
Xanax.
that situation, and this is just my personal opinion, I'm not a lawyer or whatever, but it's like, look, if it ever became an issue, just be ready to have a prescription ready to show them that it's
like,
legit.
Like pain pills pop up on drug tests, but it's like if you have a prescription, you're in the clear.
Because I don't know if you guys know this, but okay, carrying loose pills like that, like automatically, like the cops, like if you don't have a prescription at the ready or the bottle that has your name on it, they will just fucking book you for it until you prove otherwise.
That's not true. I got pulled over and I told the cop as soon as I got in the car, he goes, do you have any drugs? And I said, yeah, I have my anxiety medicine and I have headache medicine.
Well, okay, I would argue that was like solely that was at that cop's discretion.
Yeah.
But it's within their power because it's illegal. Seriously, the way it's set up is like every individual pill is a felony that you're not prescribed to that's controlled substance.
So crazy. I think it depends on the situation. It's situational too. Like
Right. Well, because you weren't trying to hide it, you were just upfront and honest. So it's like, and I'm sure you spoke with you weren't like nervous or whatever. So it's like, yeah, you were believable because it's true. You have a prescription, but it's like, now say like I had like 5 Xanax on me, I'm not prescribed, and I get pulled over. It's like, I'm not going to announce that. And then say they search me and they find it. Yeah, I'm going to get fucking dinged. But then, say similar situation, but I had a prescription, but I just don't like talking to cops.
Yeah.
I guarantee they'd book me first,
This
and then
is
when I could present that I
going
have
forward
it.
with the whole medical weed thing, though, it's like I feel like you were saying earlier, as soon as it becomes like a medical thing and everybody's cool with it, the progressive companies are more PC and all about being about this kind of stuff. Will be okay. We'll allow this for certain positions, certain stuff until it becomes legalized at the federal level at every state. You know what I'm saying? Like it will eventually get there. It's just going to take time. It's like in Colorado or California or any of these other states that have it legalized.
Well, even for them, they're getting held up still because of the scheduling at the federal level. It needs to get knocked down. There's no reason for it to be a Scheduled 1.
I know. That's
There's
so
no
ridiculous.
reason whatsoever. It's on par with fucking
I know. God.
LSD and I think heroin and like
It's
whatever
it's
else
a
is
money-making
in
thing.
Schedule
You know
1.
what it is.
I know what it is. It's
Yeah.
bullshit.
It scares me, because I feel like if, let's say I have a friend that ends up doing this and they get fired at work because someone finds out and they didn't report it to work, it's like, how is that going to be controlled? You know what I'm saying? I just don't feel like work can fire you over that, or can they do that? So let's just say hypothetically.
Well, okay, let me just boil it down to this. This is an at-will, like employment at-will state, and a lot is that you don't need a true reason to fire somebody or quit. You're working at will, so it's like they can let you go at any time for any reason. So it's like Missouri's at will. So it's like they can fire you fucking tomorrow for nothing.
But I did read in the bylaws with medical marijuana, you can't sue your company over it if they fire you over it, right? There's something legally binding in there that says you can't, but there's going to be loopholes around it if you have a good enough lawyer, is what I was reading too, because it's been happening in Colorado. Some people have tried to sue companies, and then at the end, some lawyers have actually got a loophole around it and actually sued the company, and they actually won and kept their job.
I actually haven't read the law. Now that you bring that up, I actually want to read the law that was passed.
It's like section
word
17B or something talks about how you can't sue your company.
Yeah, right. I just want to read the whole law regarding medical marijuana now.
Yeah, I was just wondering, like, you guys know, you might know more than I did about it if you've read more about it. I just want to know how it's going to work within companies. I guess it's based off their discretion and what they would do because they're a private business and they can pretty much dictate what happens, even if
Yeah,
it's
but
legal
once
or
again,
not.
it's just like it's going to be mom and pop versus like like your Walmart. It's just like it doesn't matter because at a federal level, they're not going to support it regardless because it's still federally illegal. And it's like if you're doing business like Walmart across states, they're not just going to go, okay, you can, you're in a legal state, you don't have to worry about it. It's kind of like zero tolerance. It's like,
I guess you just got to be smart about it.
but if you have a little mom and pop shop, they're not going to give a shit anyway.
Right. I mean, I'm saying if you're smart about it, if you're Joe Schmo and you're the fucking guy that goes to work every day and sits behind a desk and doesn't, advertise that you're a stoner or do anything or you got medical marijuana, they're going to have no reason to just start drug testing you randomly or doing anything at work. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're a truck driver or some type of job that does something like that.
Yeah, that's automatic. Anybody can, Department of Transportation jobs, like if you're a driver, it's like you can get randomly tested.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like the difference is that it's like they're not just going to start randomly doing it. Like, okay, it's legalized now. Everybody has to go take a drug test. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, look, we're living through this right now. We're gonna see. We'll see it unfold.
Yeah.
But yeah, as it stands in Colorado already, it's like no, it is. It's like it doesn't matter if it's legal there. If you work for some companies and they drug test you and it's against their policy, they will fire you.
Yeah.
It's just what it is.
I mean, alcohol's legal, but if you get caught drinking on the job, you're gone.
Yeah, I mean,
Great example.
it is
I'm
good.
not allowed to smoke cigarettes at my work. I mean, there's like a 3 strikes and you're out rule, but it's like if I got caught 3 times, whatever, I could get fired just for smoking cigarettes.
yeah. I guess it progressively over time it's just going to get better. I just wanted to see what your guys' take was on it because it's cool to hear about it because I'm glad to see people actually being open-minded because our age people are actually growing up and voting on this kind of stuff. It's just where it's going to go from here.
I think it's good timing altogether with just where we're at. Where you got people who want, I'm not into that fucking, too into that holistic shit or essential oils like cure cancer. But I do like the move back towards like, people want fresh food, like organic. And it's just like, and I like how it is plant-based. And it's like, I like how the medical law will allow caregivers to grow plants or patients to grow their own plants. Because it's like, for those people who like are very concerned about what they're putting in their body, and I feel like that's a movement that's just getting bigger and bigger.
It's an
Or
evolution.
people like, who want hormone-free like chicken even or shit like that.
I'm all about the hormone-free chicken.
Same thing. Yeah, they're like grass-fed beef.
Yeah.
Shit,
Yeah,
shit like that.
I want real shit. I don't want fucking fake shit put in my
Well,
body.
and I just say that because it's like I heard some sheriff from Colorado I forgot who, but they were talking about how it's like this isn't real medicine. It's like this is plant material, but it's just like, well, you got to figure it's just like so was the poppy plant before we
I know.
fucking synthesized morphine.
How many other medicines are derived from plants? Like
And right, and it's just like, and you're the
idiotic.
motherfuckers who held us up from access for this for years. So it's like, so forgive us for just going back to plant because you guys just wouldn't, make medication out of it. You had your chance, and that's why at this point it's like, as far as the medical's concerned, it's like, yeah, I mean, go ahead and work on it. But then as far as recreational is concerned, it's like everybody in the government go fuck themselves because they've been fucking us for decades and the law has been more damaging than the substance itself. And it's like in those situations, it's like that's not right.
Yeah, it just goes back to until they can make money off it, it's not going to be recreational until they figure
And
out.
it's coming because look, I'll guarantee anything in about 5 years when they do start trying to propose like just outright legalization, that it's like the tax rate will be higher on legalized marijuana, like for recreational than medical.
Yeah. Well, they said as soon as it becomes recreational, medical is going to lose like billions of dollars, and it's like, well, that's just the way it's going to go.
Well, I don't know because it's a 2-tiered system from what I hear in Colorado. Is like if it's medical, if you have a medical card, you actually have access to higher strength. Like I know of like for instance like edibles. Okay, so like say a gummy bear is like 10 milligrams of THC, and that's like what you can get. You can get like a pack of 10. But like they legally cannot sell you 100 milligram THC in one go at like a
because
teddy
they
bear.
do have they're the same size, but they have different dosage, like different.
Yeah, and
it's
so like if you get too high up, it's like you're getting into the medical realm, and it's like you can't even get that. Sure, you can still get edibles. You just got to eat 10 gummies instead of 1. But the point being is it's just like there is stuff at that medical tier that's only available to medical patients.
That makes sense, like cancer patients and people that really need some of this stuff or whatever. But yeah, there's really good causes for it. I just hate that still businesses are going to be really gay about it because of the federal stuff. That's my biggest take on it. It's like everybody's okay with drinking, but even with the smoking stuff coming on, it's like it's still going to be, it's still new, I guess.
It's weird how drinking's legal and it's like
The number one killer.
common knowledge that it's not good for you, like health wise. But marijuana is illegal, and it's like coming out more and more that it is good for you, depending on like what kind of ailments you have or whatever. But it's like it's so crazy that it's such a big deal still. Like it's just blows my mind. It's like just let if that's what they want to do, just make it a responsibility thing, just like drinking. It's like how many people get drunk and get in a car accident and kill 3 people, but they live on to tell the story. But there's commercials. It's like drink responsibly. That's like same thing with smoking. Just put it on the individual. Like why?
It's no different than smoking a cigarette. I mean, everybody gets a tolerance. You smoke enough, it's like anything else. Just like drinking, it's a tolerance. But yeah, it's a responsible thing. It's being a grown up.
Keep it out of kids. Keep it out of kids' reach.
I bring it back to constitutional rights. It's like, look, I fully believe it's just like, dude, if I'm not hurting anybody else, like, what is it to you what the fuck I do? It's my body. Fuck off. Who are you to tell me what I can do to my body? I mean, that's the biggest argument for abortion is it's like it's a woman's body. It's her choice. Yeah, well, it's my body. I'm choosing what I'm putting in it. And it's just like, so fuck off. It's like, why do you get to dictate that I can, I could slam 10 beers, but I can't smoke a joint. Like,
Because they can make money off it. It's the most social thing. You can go anywhere in every place you go. In the movies now, you can go to the fucking mall. I mean, I'm just making shit up where I go, but anywhere you go, they have drinking available because it's a money fucking producing thing for
movie
everybody.
theaters now.
I mean,
That was not always a thing.
no, it was never a thing.
You know?
My mom and dad used to they used to sneak in beer in in their trunk at the drive-in movie theaters when they went to go drink because they didn't sell beer at those drive-in movie theaters. I mean, just shit like that. But it's like, yeah, it's socially cool everywhere. It's just the way everything goes. So, yeah, it just sucks.
It does, but we'll get there. Like I said, we're living through history right now. And final thought on this is, you think back to 2006 in the George Bush era, and it's like, I just remember being a kid and being like, thinking like, dude, like, it'll never be legal. They're arresting, Chong for selling bongs in California. It's like, we'll never, and then it's like, you see the progress we've made in such a little amount of time that now that we sit here to this day, a law has been passed last week. This last week that it's like we just got legalized medical marijuana in the fucking middle of the country in Missouri. It doesn't get redder than us,
Right.
as far as red states. And
Right.
we fucking not only did we pass it, we had 3 on the ballot. We passed the best one,
Now they're
and
taking
it transcended party lines. Is that like it just crushed? Everybody wanted this, so that's and I say it's like the politicians need to keep in mind that it's like this is a Republican thing too, because Arkansas passed medical back in 2016 and they have yet to issue a license to anybody. So it's like their government's fucking around with it, but it's like I hope Missouri realizes it's like, no, a lot of the people that voted you in, Josh Hawley, are the same people who voted for medical marijuana. So just keep that in mind.
I think he's going to be progressive enough to actually allow it to go through, and everybody's going to get their license and doing all their stuff. Like, not a lot, like you said, but I bet there's, like you said, there's going to be 20 to 25 dispensaries.
Dude,
put around.
I bet some of these like lower income states, like I bet they wish they would have gone the route Colorado did, before, because Colorado's been booming ever since.
Yeah.
Do that in Mississippi. Seriously, do that in Mississippi. They need it bad. They need money, and it's
Dude,
just it would change. I swear to God, in 10 years, Mississippi would be like they would have like an advanced science center and like all this, that, and the other with all the fucking tax.
I heard
money they got.
Illinois, the governor or someone over there already wants to legalize it. Like, just get it out there and legalize for the state.
Well, they just got rid of the Bruce Rauner over in Illinois. He was a Republican governor, and they got a Democrat now. And it's all Democrats over in Illinois, so I actually wouldn't be surprised if they legalize it pretty soon.
Yeah. All right, well, you're gay, and I'm ready to go smash some burgers. What about you?
Smash burger.
Yeah, smash some burgers.
I gotta piss.
All right, well,
I'm pissed off. I gotta piss. That's all I got.
you done?
Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Pisser. I'll have my toilet cam up here in about 10. Stream me on Twitch.
Pisser.com.
Pissinmymouth.com.
Oh God.
All right, well, I think that's going to wrap up the podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll piss in your mouths
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
next time.